going on, everyone? LeoBlade13 here, welcoming you back to another Dragoborne Let's Talk video. This time, if you couldn't tell by the title or thumbnail, we are going to be discussing some blue and yellow machine cards. So it seems like Machine has been getting a lot of support. We did talk about the Red Dragon a few videos ago, and that dealt with a lot of machines. So it is kind of cool to see this creature type kind of become in a deck. It'll be interesting to see what color combination works out for it. I mean, based on what we have right now, it looks like it's going to be red, blue, green with more yellow and more blue. But with red being in it, I think that's kind of interesting. But anyways, let's jump into this. And actually, before we get started, as always, there is going to be a link to Dragoborne down below where you can find all of these cards, as well as my Twitter if you feel like following me on there. But anyways, the first card we have to talk about today is a 5-drop yellow creature, Arsenal of Justice. He has 4 attack and 4 endurance, so not too shabby, but could be better. And he has a continuous effect, which is your other machines get +1/+1 and cannot be chosen by opposing spells or abilities. So once he hits the field, none of your other creatures can be destroyed by Zarko. They can still be hit by gluttony or fort targeting stuff, such as EMP. But I think the big thing is Zarko does not have an impact on them. Anything that does damage to a specific creature does not do anything. That red spell that we took a look at, that will still destroy them, since it's not choosing them. It just kind of hits everything. So it is the one downside, but I feel like there's still not really enough of those to make this effect irrelevant. I think this is going to be a strong effect. Still early on, we're only 2 sets in, so that's pretty good. It pretty much turns all of your creatures into a Terrax, like a Dragocross Terrax that doesn't have Double Breaker. And if you can get 2 of these out on the field, none of your creatures can be chosen. So that's really interesting. Then it's also got the blue Dragocross ability, which is when this creature attacks, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a machine, put it into your hand. So just letting you kind of draw that extra card, which advantage is always nice, but I don't think that one's going to make too big of a difference. I'd rather just use my blue dice as a Draco Shield rather than triggering his effect. But anyways, moving on to our next card, we've got Vessel of the End, which is a blue 4-drop machine with 3 attack, 3 endurance, so pretty decent. I was with this card, I was expecting more of like a researcher type of stat line, like a 4-2-1 or 4-1-1, something kind of low, just because it has the effect, when this creature is summoned, put 3 cards from the top of your deck into your discard pile. And if there are 8 or more machines in your discard pile, you may put all of the machines in your discard pile on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, you may summon the End of Tides from your hand. So, the big question that this card raises is, what is the End of Tides gonna be? Coming from Yu-Gi-Oh!, anything that has to be summoned from another card usually has a crazy effect, and with this being a 4-drop, it's got to be something powerful. And then you have to meet the 8 machines in your discard pile condition, which I don't think will be too hard. I think there's going to be support for this. Unlike with the Researcher, where it was just kind of, you need 12 spells, and there is nothing to help you get spells in the graveyard. But with this, I think they're gonna try to give you something to help get the End of Tides out of your hand. And that's the one thing I don't like about this card, is that the End of Tides has to be in your hand. If it was from your hand or your deck, I think that would be a lot better. But having to have this card and that card in your hand, it kind of raises the question, how many of each are you going to play? Are you going to kind of play like 4 of these and then maybe 2 the End of Tides? So it's going to be interesting to see. Definitely excited to see what that card's effect is going to be. But anyways, moving on, we've got Mechanized Rubble Walker, a 4-drop yellow card with 4 attack, 4 endurance, so right on par with where it should be, with an trigger ability, which is when you siphon 2, this creature gets +1/+1 for each of your other creatures. Sorry, I'm trying to reread it. I haven't looked at these cards in a while. Siphon 2, this creature gets +1/+1 for each of your other creatures for this turn. So he does boost himself way up there. I don't think that's too relevant. If he was a 1/1/1, I think I would like that a little bit more. But with him already being a 4/4, he's going to be able to tackle most things. But then he's got, when he's Drago crossed, you can siphon 5. This creature cannot be blocked by creatures of the same color as the dice siphoned for this ability's cost for this turn. So that is pretty interesting. But I think there are cards that do that better. So, this card really doesn't shout out anything to me. Let me know down below if you think there is a use for this card, or if you think this card might see play. But as for me, I personally don't think this will see anything. It might just be like a 4/4/4 vanilla that yellow uses, but I think where we have a card like that, I forget what it is, that came out in Rally to War, but you pretty much summon it and then draw a card for every 2 of your yellow cards. I think that's a much better option compared to this. But our final card for this video is going to be a 3-drop blue spell, Supreme Ambition. So it has the effect, choose any number of opposing creatures with total attack equal to or less than the value of one of your blue dice, and rest them. So, you aren't going to be able to rest more than 6 in combination of attack. So, if they have a Balthios and Mind Flayer Demon, you'd only be able to rest those 2. You wouldn't be able to rest anything else that they would happen to have on the field. But this is really good in stopping Teriel, because she's only a 1-drop, so even if you roll all blue 1s, this spell will still have some use against her. But then the effect continues, choose any number of your creatures with total attack equal to or less than the value of one of your blue dice, and stand them. So, there is a card that we're going to be talking about in a future video, which rests itself to trigger an ability. So, after you use that effect, you can play this spell, and then restand it, and then you can either attack or reuse that ability, which is pretty interesting. So, this might be a fun tech card in some decks, but I don't know if it's really going to see play in any of the meta. But it's also got the Fort Burst effect. Put this card into your discard pile, choose an opposing creature, rest it, and draw a card. So it's essentially an all guns blazing, which I do like, and it does have that lower cost, with the potential to rest more creatures, depending on your dice roll. So I think this is gonna kind of push all guns blazing out, simply because of the lower cost, and it does essentially all the same stuff. You could, it lets you stand your creatures too. So yeah, I think this is really gonna push all guns blazing completely out of picture, and it is only an uncommon, and even as we saw from Rally to War, even the rares were kind of floating around a lot. It was really just the double rares that people were seeking, with the exception of Teriel and Gluttony, which everyone wanted. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of these cards down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Supporting this video helps support Dragoborne. I'm not really worried about support for me or anything, but out my ways, Dragoborne isn't doing too well, at least that I've been seeing. So your support on this game could help keep this game alive, and I really want to see it survive at least a few more sets, and hopefully for the next few years. But anyways, as always, thanks for watching.